Well, first, the room tax revenue that he has in there is estimated at $292 million over the biennium. That's dead wrong. There's no one in the industry who agrees that they will be able to bring in that kind of revenue with a 3% increase on room taxes. It's more like $100 million, $120 million maybe. Yeah. Number two, he put in $100 million from the stimulus for Medicaid, and he did it before the bill was even drafted in the House side, and the bill now states that you have to replenish the funding to 06, 07 levels in order to qualify for the federal stimulus money. So we need to add money to get the federal money. That's number two. And number three is, there are no priorities in it. It's just cut higher ed, 38%, UNR 48%, UNLV 51%, cut teacher salaries, cut other state employee salaries 6%. It's just not the answer. So we have our work cut out for us. It's not going to be easy. There are a lot of decisions, difficult decisions that are going to have to be made. Now we have unemployment that's 9%. All of these formulas that the feds have in their stimulus are based on unemployment figures. So because our unemployment rate is so high, we're in the first tier of assistance for the feds from the stimulus package. And the fact that our unemployment rolls are projected to grow to 11.3, 11.4% in 2009, that's a lot of people who could qualify for assistance and funding that we could get for education, that as long as we provide the state match, we'll get $1 billion or more of money. Now, that will only go, it won't go to balancing our budget, it'll go to helping to fill the hole from the cuts that were imposed in the previous cycles, and to fund some important initiatives around job creation and some of the transportation projects, which the stimulus proposes to try to get the economy going again, which ultimately is our only answer. Be some reform, though, as well, and there will be cuts. So we just have to decide what areas will be cut, which programs can be scaled back, and which things must be funded. I believe that there has to be new revenue identified in a way that makes sense, that balances this budget responsibly, that does so in a way that we're not having a discussion every 2 years about adequately funding essential services to the people of this state.
You say no one can see the future, but essentially that's how we budget. I mean, the Economic Forum is guessing at the future. They can't see it, but they guess. And you're basically handcuffed by their numbers. And if they're wrong, as they were this last time, you're back up here having to do this all again.
Well, and I think that's part of the reason that we need to look at proposals like Senator Joyce Woodhouse to take to the voters the need for an annual limited session for purposes of the budget. Because we are in a new economy. The challenges ahead of us are going to continue to be great. We all expect the economy to recover at some point, but we don't know when. And so having an annual session to do the budget that was responsible, that funds essential services, that doesn't, raise taxes or reduce taxes at every, time, maybe put in some triggers that work when the economy's going well, so that we can put some money aside through stabilization funds and some of those other ideas. We need to have that debate in the legislature, and ultimately the voters need to decide, is Nevada at the point now where we need an annual session for the budget?
Yeah.
And then every other year for public policy. It's not about a big government or small government, but is it a government that works? If you eliminate funding for 38% for higher ed, if you cap enrollment in Nevada Checkup of 25,000, even though there's thousands of kids on a waiting list on your desk today, if you cut museums and parks and cultural affairs, if you impose a 6% pay cut on teachers and other state workers, is that government going to be able to work for the people of the state? And the more information that we get from the people who are doing the work, the answer is no. It can't work like that. Now, that said, you're going to have to figure out a way to work with less, because you're not going to have all of what you need. But there's some things that have to be a priority, and we're going to fight like hell to make them a priority. Some other things, non-essential areas, things that maybe government shouldn't be involved in right now, we've got to scale back. We've got to review it. We've got to possibly even eliminate some of those things in order to fund the things that matter most to people.